How many unfinished plans do you have right now? Seriously, think about it. The business idea, the skill you wanted to learn, the project you promised yourself you'd start. Now, here's the uncomfortable question. What if the reason you're still stuck isn't because you're not smart enough? What if it's because you're too smart? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the smartest people spend years going nowhere, and why people with less talent often move ahead of them. Smart people have a dangerous advantage. They can see every possible outcome, every risk, every mistake, every reason something might fail. And while everyone else is moving, they're still thinking. That's why some of the smartest people spend years in the same place, not because they can't succeed, because they never stop analyzing long enough to begin. I used to think intelligence automatically led to success. Good grades, good thinking, good decisions. That should lead to good results, right? But then I started noticing something strange. Some of the smartest people I knew were stuck. Not for weeks, not for months, for years. Meanwhile, people who seemed less talented were moving forward, starting businesses, changing careers, building skills, taking action. And that's when I realized the first trap. Smart people don't just see opportunities, they see obstacles. All of them, before anything even happens. A normal person sees a goal. A smart person sees 10 ways it could fail, 20 problems, 30 risks. And because they can see more, they hesitate more. That's the first trap. The smarter you are, the easier it becomes to replace action with analysis. And analysis feels productive. That's what makes it dangerous. You can spend hours researching, planning, comparing options, watching videos, learning strategies, and at the end of the day, feel like you made progress, even though nothing actually changed. Have you ever done that? I have, many times. And that's when I discovered the second trap. Smart people are experts at creating logical excuses. Not lazy excuses, logical ones. I need more information. I need more time. I need a better plan. I need to understand this fully first. And the scary thing, those excuses sound intelligent. That's why they survive. Nobody questions them, not even you, because they make sense. But sometimes, making sense is exactly what keeps you stuck. The person who starts before they're ready looks irresponsible. The smart person waits. The smart person prepares. The smart person thinks. And sometimes, the smart person is still waiting a year later, while everyone else has already learned through experience, made mistakes, adjusted, improved, and moved forward. That's when I discovered the third trap. Knowledge creates the illusion of progress. This one is dangerous because it feels productive. You read a book, you watch a video, you learn a new concept, you understand a new strategy, and your brain rewards you for it. You feel smarter, you feel closer to your goal. But understanding something is not the same as doing it. Reading about confidence is not confidence. Learning about business is not building a business. Watching content about change is not changing. But the brain loves to blur the line because learning feels safe. Action doesn't. And that's where smart people lose years, not because they don't know enough, but because they keep collecting information instead of collecting experience. And here's the trap that nobody talks about. The trap is not ignorance. The trap is thinking that understanding something is the same as doing it. Read that again, because that idea stole years from me. I thought clarity would create action, but most of the time, action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't think your way into confidence, you act your way into confidence. You don't think your way into experience, you act your way into experience. And that's when everything finally made sense. The scary thing isn't that you're stuck. The scary thing is that you can feel productive while being stuck. You can spend years learning, planning, thinking, preparing, and still be standing in exactly the same place. The scary part? You can spend years feeling productive while standing completely still. That's why this trap is so difficult to notice, because failure usually feels like failure, but this doesn't. This feels responsible. It feels smart. It feels rational. Until one day you look back and realize you've been preparing for a life you never actually started. Maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you've been waiting for certainty. Maybe you've been waiting until you felt ready. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you just need a little more information, a little more preparation, a little more clarity. But what if that's the thing keeping you stuck? What if the obstacle isn't your lack of intelligence? What if it's the way you're using it? Because in the end, success doesn't belong to the person who understands the most. It belongs to the person who acts on what they understand. And sometimes the smartest thing you can do is stop thinking and start moving.